There's a strange moment in healing that no one prepares you for. The moment when your life finally becomes quieter, safer, gentler, and you still can't relax. In fact, sometimes the calm feels more uncomfortable than the chaos you prayed to escape. Part 20 is about that, about the psychological paradox where peace doesn't feel peaceful, rest doesn't feel restful, and safety doesn't feel safe. Because here's the truth. When you grow up in chaos, calm feels like danger. Your nervous system was trained in a battlefield, and battle became your baseline. Chaos became familiar. Stress became normal. Hypervigilance became identity. And survival became personality. So when life becomes easier, your mind doesn't interpret it as relief. It interprets it as vulnerability. You don't know how to relax because relaxation was never safe. You don't know how to receive stability because stability never lasted. You don't know how to feel softness because softness was always followed by harm. You don't know how to rest because rest was always interrupted by something going wrong. So now, when nothing is wrong, your brain panics. It waits. It anticipates. It prepares for imaginary disasters. Not because you're broken, but because your body believes its job is to protect you from the world, not live in it. Part 20 reveals something people rarely understand. Healing doesn't hurt because you're going backward. Healing hurts because it forces you to feel everything you avoided while you were surviving. When you were in constant motion, fixing crises, managing emotions, putting out fires, preventing explosions, you didn't have time to feel. Survival mode doesn't allow emotions. It suspends them. It stores them. It freezes them for later. And later shows up exactly when your life gets calmer. That's why people break down after things finally improve. That's why grief hits years after the loss. That's why trauma resurfaces when you're finally safe. That's why anxiety increases when stress decreases. Your body doesn't release pain when you're overwhelmed. It releases pain when you have enough space to process it. That's the cruel irony of healing. The moment you think you should feel better is the moment you begin feeling everything. Part 20 goes deeper because this delayed emotional damage affects your sense of identity. When your whole life was built around coping, suppressing, managing, controlling, predicting, and protecting, who are you when you no longer have to do those things? Peace feels unfamiliar. Joy feels suspicious. Happiness feels fragile. Comfort feels dangerous. Slowness feels wrong. Rest feels undeserved. Stillness feels terrifying. This is where people self-sabotage, not because they want pain, but because pain is predictable. Chaos is familiar. Stress is known. You can navigate storms, but calm waters make you lose your balance. People raised in instability often become adults addicted to urgency. They don't consciously choose it. Their nervous system does. Their baseline emotional frequency became so high that silence feels like withdrawal. You check your phone compulsively. You imagine the worst-case scenario. You start fights in your head. You replay conversations. You scan the room for danger. You overthink everything. You catastrophize the future. You feel like something terrible is about to happen, simply because nothing terrible is happening right now. Part 20 uncovers the deeper truth. You're not afraid of peace. You're afraid of fully existing without armor. Armor protected you. Hypervigilance protected you. Numbness protected you. Independence protected you. Self-sacrifice protected you. Low expectations protected you. And healing requires you to lower the shield that once kept you alive. That's why healing feels like exposure, like standing in the open, like walking into the unknown, like waiting for something to go wrong, like hoping you won't be punished for relaxing. Part 20 also deals with something even more painful, the grief that emerges when your life improves. Because as calm grows, You start seeing the damage you never acknowledged. You finally notice how lonely you were, how tired you've been, how unsupported you were for years, how deeply you minimized your own struggles, how much you masked to survive, how many parts of yourself you lost along the way. You start grieving the childhood you didn't have, the safety you never knew, the version of you who didn't get to exist, the softness you were never allowed, the identity you shaped out of survival instead of freedom. This grief doesn't mean you're regressing. It means your capacity for truth is returning. As your nervous system stabilizes, your emotional world unfreezes. Pieces of you thaw out. Old pain surfaces. Buried memories emerge. Forgotten emotions return. That's not relapse, that's release. Part 20 continues. Healing isn't only about feeling better. It's about learning how to feel at all. It's about reintroducing yourself to your own emotions. It's about teaching your body that safety is not a temporary illusion. You slowly learn that not every silence hides danger. Not every calm hides chaos. Not every person is unpredictable. Not every good moment is the start of something bad. Not every feeling must be suppressed to stay safe. It takes time. It takes unlearning. It takes discomfort. It takes reprogramming a nervous system that was wired for survival instead of connection. And here's the deepest truth of Part 20. You don't fear peace. You fear losing yourself again. You fear being blindsided again. You fear trusting life again. You fear relaxing right before something shatters again. Your exhaustion is not from healing, it's from decades of surviving. Your fear is not irrational, it's historical. Your reactions are not dramatic, they're learned. Your defenses are not flaws, they're adaptations. But the fact that you're reading this, listening to this, seeking this, proves something powerful. You're ready for a life that doesn't drain you to exist in. Part 20 ends with this. Healing isn't becoming a new person. It's meeting the version of you that existed before the world changed you. And peace is not the absence of chaos. It's the presence of a self that finally feels safe inside its own body. You're not failing. You're finally feeling. And that is the beginning of everything.